The Central Bank of Nigeria, who in a circular to all authorized dealers and the general public, announced the introduction of e-invoicing for all import and export in the country, which took effect February 1, 2022. However, this directive did not go down well with the freight forwarders operating at both the Tinkan Island and the PTML. They called on the authorities to address the technical glitches facing the newly introduced evaluation system of phase industrial action. And this further snowballed into a withdrawal of the services of the freight forwarders till further notice. Now, it may interest you to know that the CBN had introduced the evaluation and e-invoicing system in the import and export system in order to enhance revenue generation. Now, to further look into this with me in the studio this morning is I have forwarder Godfrey Unwosu. He would be joining us via Zoom. He is the chairman, Tinkan Chapter, Africa Association of Professional Freight Forwarders and Logistics in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on Business Breakfast.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Now, let's x-ray this particular issue, talking about the controversy between the Nigeria Customs and, of course, freight forwarders in Nigeria. In a bid to further generate revenue for the country, the CBN had introduced the evaluation and e-invoicing system. However, it looks like that policy was largely opposed by the niche you belong to, that's the freight forwarders, and help us understand what exactly went down and what is the update on that.
Thank you once again. Like the topic you are addressing now, the introduction of the evaluation and the VIN valuation is not evaluation, VIN valuation and e-invoicing by the Central Bank through the Ministry of Finance and the monitoring agency as a Nigerian Customs Service. Yes, we woke up at the early hours of about 3 weeks ago to be faced to the introduction of a new protocol in VIN valuation of imported vehicles. This protocol, as was introduced by Nigerian Customs Service, did not really take into cognizance excuse me, the prevailing environment of our operation. That is, Nigeria being an import-dependent nation with a high level of importation of used vehicles into Nigerian market. The introduction of VIN valuation came with a lot of confusion, and the implementation, the procedure into the protocol was not well understood by the operator, that's the freight forwarder, talking about the freight forwarders. Ideally, when a new regime or a new protocol is being introduced, it has to take a gradual process whereby the operators, which are the freight forwarders, will be co-opted or involved in introducing on implementation of such policies. The Nigerian Customs Service claims that they followed all the processes of introduction, of consultation and communication. Lucky enough, we were all at the training school on last week, Tuesday, when the headquarters of Nigerian Customs detailed high-powered senior personnel of the service come and had a town hall meeting with the freight forwarders. There and then, the freight forwarders stood and told the service point blank that this policy is inimical, that this policy is not easy to be assimilated, and that the customs need to go back and they look at the policy again, and then they make sure that the protocol, that's the new VIN regime protocol, is being properly integrated into the system to enable the operators who are the freight forwarders to carry on with it. Nobody doubted or rejected or refused the introduction of this new protocol regime. We all accepted it. But our challenges were based on the unprompted timing of this introduction.
Okay, so talking about the timing, sorry to butt in there. Now, the federal government, through the Nigerian Customs Service, has announced a 31-day suspension, that was as at yesterday, of the electronic valuation system. And of course, they are saying that this is so that the vehicles which are trapped at the ports can be cleared. Does this mean that now that a 31-day extension has been given, would the freight forwarders, your association, would they shift grounds and begin to reconsider?
Obviously, a grace period has been given, but another question has to be put before this so-called grace period. It was the aspect or the shipping and terminal operational aspect inclusive in this 1 month, 31 days notice that's effective today, 8th of March. The other operators have no other choice than to shift ground and allow this 31 days period. And also, we should know that after 31 days grace period, customs did not say that we are going to take off effective implementation. All they said was that they should take 31 days and go and clear the backlogs of the consignment or shipment trapped in between this period of this protest. Going further, after 31 days, is customs going to fully automate and implement the VIN valuation? Is customs going to implement the e-invoicing? All the freight forwarders have been agitating for is based on VIN valuation. E-invoicing is another has to do with vehicle, where 85% of vehicles we use in Nigeria are imported. The e-invoicing is another issue that requires a thorough and proper discussion. Yes, the policy, the monetary policy agency, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria, has introduced it, and it has been repeated into the system. As we speak, some general cargo is coming out with a rate of duty that is higher, almost about 50 and above % of what they are used to pay before. We are going to ship ground pending the outcome of this grace period. And mind you, they did not consider the period where we are going to experience technical hitches like server issues that have always been there. They did not consider the period where it will now require manual automation and the backlog as we speak. The other day, the PTML operators, that's the Grimaldi operators, were mentioning the volume of vehicles trapped in their custody, waiting clearance. Over 12,000. 31 days be enough to clear 12,000 units of vehicles that have already been trapped.
So that's another major issue. You're saying 31 days is not enough to clear those vehicles, the 12,000 vehicles that are trapped.
Considering the accumulation, the volume of vehicles that have been shipped and imported, most of which has not been discharged in Nigerian ports. So many vessels are waiting anchorage. So many vessels are in Cotonou and in Lomé are waiting clearance to come and discharge their shipment. These things were not considered. Some of these vehicles will be discharged today, tomorrow, weekend, and they are going to be a mad rush. If you have experienced delivery process through the exit gate of the port, especially vehicular delivery, and you've been there, you see how people stampede on each other because definitely everybody want to go through this grace period to be free from additional perils or damages. Now, it's just one gate that will assess, that will exit all these shipments, this number of shipments we're talking about. Containers will be using the same access gate. Vehicles may be using the same access gate. Talking about Goro Port, same access gate where some vehicular, containerized vehicles will be going through. The same time, the exit of vehicles will also be taking the alternative exit through the other exit by Capac C. PTML will going to also carry out delivery through the same channels. Think of what will happen on our road access road, the access road to the port, where already there are trucks of conveying empty containers on the road, on the bridge, and this is going to cause another huge challenge. I am not in any way, I will not be surprised at the end of 31 days, we will be asking our government to have no reason than to shift or to give additional grace period.
But let's flip the coin now. The CBN has said that the essence of this evaluation system is to remove fraudulent requests for foreign exchange and non-existing trade and overall reduction on slippage. Do you see that particular policy achieving this purpose?
Yes, it can, but that will be achievable in an environment, in a system where every other element that causes these things that we are trying to eliminate now are first and foremost eliminated. You can't be talking of achieving the purpose when the elements that are factors responsible for all these challenges or the issues we experience in the course of transaction on the international trade. Trade facilitation will be a very good system if we are in an environment where things are properly done. Yes, if assuming if we are like people like in the countries that have attained that level of sanity in our system, we can say yes, we can close our eyes and go into it. Yes, the introduction is one thing, implementation is another thing. Then the acceptability in the trade system. Mind you, so many human elements will be put out of active participation in the international trade chain. These are the first thing we need to do. It's not about introducing monetary policy. You need to reduce the number of people engaged in execution in the course of transaction during and after shipment are laden in a particular country. We will take a very tall walk to achieve that, but it's a wonderful package that considering what benefit they are in, that with the country, the level of revenue generation that will attain, it will be a very good advantage to Nigeria. But my doubt, the system to work as simultaneous as expected by the regulatory agencies, like Central Bank of Nigeria. It will take a tall work for us to get there. Because our system is not prepared yet. Myself, my colleagues in the industry, those of them in the government agencies, the central bank, the banks, mind you, we're talking about achieving it. The banks, some of them will give you complaints that they will want to move up, escalate the request for forex. Central bank will not approve it. All these things are factors, challenges. I'm not in the banking system. I'm not in insurance. All these things are what, first and foremost, have we attained one-stop shop, one-stop point where all these systems are being integrated into. Central Bank is just talking
in wrapping up, now, due to this ongoing strike, the association has said that the trapped vehicles incurred about 600 million naira in the demurrages and the other charges with over 12,000 imported vehicles trapped. We already looked into that. But do you now see the strike maybe coming to a close? Do you see them calling off the strike, especially as the federal government has now shifted ground? Is there a meeting point where we can say the strike should be called off?
As we speak, activities have commenced in the port. Those that have already declarations, those that are about to make declarations, activities are picked in our port. So if you're talking if shifting ground or not shifting ground, if a grace period has been granted, and the operators, those who have one or two shipments to take out of the port, have moved in to commence process of taking their shipment out of the port. Obviously, we can't be talking about strike still in the system for now. For now, the action temporarily have been suspended so that we give room for those who have one or two things to do to go and commence process of doing it. There's no action commencing forthwith from today. Everybody's busy now trying to go about taking a shipment out of the port.